Welcome to St. Mary's in Champlain, New York. Best wishes are for Anne Morgan, who after 25 years as a teacher here at St. Mary's School is going to her retirement, she said. And people are coming into the auditorium at St. Mary's. I'm Bob Venne, and I hope you enjoy this presentation of the retirement of Anne Morgan. People are signing in the book, which will be given to Anne. The gym has been decorated by the faculty and the Friends of St. Mary's. And they're here, this is the head table for Anne, and her husband Bob, and her family, and members of the faculty and the clergy. Lots of willing workers. There'll be a program. Jack Dawson at the podium will be the MC for the day. Hope you'll stay with us. Yes, as an A-plus teacher, you make learning fun. To teach is to touch a life forever. Tribute to Anne Morgan, who has taught both the 3rd and the 4th grade at St. Mary's since, I believe it's 1968. That would make sense, wouldn't it? 25 years. Has been set up on the table by the, as we said, the faculty and Friends of St. Mary's. Scheduled to get underway about 11:30 with the food, and they'll be here till about 2 o'clock.
Attention, please. Little housekeeping before we get started this afternoon. We'd ask that any of the youngsters that are here from St. Mary's, if you would, just come down and sit here in front. Would you please? You folks, guys, come sit down. Right up here. Yeah, right down here in front, right on the floor. Good spot as any. Then you can see, everybody can see you. Also, any of those people that are presenting flowers, we ask you to stand right in the back of the room. Just stand right in the back. And one other thing, don't forget, anyone who's here to sign the guest book, if you have any messages you'd like to give in writing, please feel free to do so in the guest book. I believe the guest book is right up here. You know, sometimes in a crowd like this, there's a tendency to forget sometimes who's there, and a lot of fond memories. Go back and read over that guest book, so please be sure that you sign it. Anyway, we're here this morning, or this afternoon, yes, by now, to celebrate and to give thanks to a lovely lady who has dedicated 25 years of her professional life, and indeed not a small amount of her personal life, to the children of St. Mary's School and their families. Christopher Morley, one of our great American literary journalist, once said, speaking or writing on success, that there is only one success: to spend your life in your own way. And Anne, certainly, as we will soon see this afternoon, you have chosen the correct way. We're going to begin with Father Susie. Father will give us grace after meals and then say a few words regarding Anne and her career here at St. Mary's. It seems as if we're losing two of our St. Lawrence County heroes here at St. Mary's Parish School. Father Susie from Lisbon over in St. Lawrence County is leaving us, and Anne is leaving her teaching career. Anne was from Norwood over in St. Lawrence County, so the two St. Lawrence County folks are on the way somewhere else. So Father, if you would.
Father Susie, pastor, is being transferred this coming Wednesday, the 16th, to St. Bernard's Church in Saranac. Been here 7 years.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless us as we gathered here this afternoon to honor Anne Morgan. We give you thanks for all that she has done for this school and for our parish, all the lives she has touched and will continue to touch. We give you thanks for her family, for her friends who have gathered here to celebrate with her. We give thanks also for the food which we share this day. This we ask through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The second reading from our Mass Day, the Feast of Corpus Christi, was taken from St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, in which he talked about our being all a part of the body of Christ. If you go on in that same letter to read even further about what St. Paul has to say about the body of Christ, he describes the many different members of that body and some of the functions which those members perform. He says in chapter 12, "You then are the body of Christ. Every one of you is a member of it. Furthermore, God has set up in the church first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracle workers, healers, assistants, administrators, and those who speak in tongues." Teachers, in St. Paul's opinion, rated right up there towards the very top of the list. And he was right, because they are extremely important in helping to develop and form our children, both in their knowledge of things of this world and here at St. Mary's, especially in the things of God. I recently heard of one commencement speaker, and I forget who he was, but I think he writes mystery stories, whoever he was. But he spoke to the class very simply and said, "Life is tough, but it's a lot tougher if you're stupid." And that is true. And Anne Morgan has done her very best to send out some people who are not stupid, or at least not as stupid as when she got them. And we thank her for that. We thank Anne not only for what she has done, though, for those children and for the school. We thank her for all she has done for our parish, and we'll hear more about the details of that later on. So, Anne, congratulations on all that you have done. Even though you're retiring from the school, you're certainly not retiring from either the parish or life, and we still expect lots of great things from you. Thank you again.
Father Susie.
Thank you very much, Father. There are a number of us here today that not only knew Anne as a teacher, but certainly as a friend and as a neighbor over the last 25 years. Bob told me that a few days ago that Anne had taught in Carthage, New York for about 5 years as a home ec teacher. And then when they moved here with Bob's work at then Sheridan, when the opportunity to teach at St. Mary's came up, I guess they were discussing it, and Bob said, "Well, why don't you try it, see what it's like?" Sure enough, 25 years later, here we are, right? During that time, of course, we who knew her as a neighbor and knew her family admire Bob and Ann's life as a giving Christian example, raising a wonderful family, many of whom are at the head table today. This, I think, is the opportunity now to introduce those people that are here to help her celebrate this 25 years at St. Mary's. So if I could, I'd like to introduce the head table, of course, Father Susi, and then Deacon Leonard Patry. Of course, Ann, Morgan, and her wife Bob, and her husband Bob. Since things are going well here today. Anyway, one of our all-time favorite babysitters, great friend, Ann's daughter, Maria Clark. Son Tom Morgan, and his fiancée, Robin Markham. Tom and Robin are Melissa Morgan, Sheree Markle, and AJ Markle, somewhere along the way. And son Mike and his wife Kim and their children, Matthew, Nicholas, and Jennifer. Ann's daughter Beth, who is somewhat following her mother's footsteps in the home economics field. We see her often in the PR cook-off parts of the newspaper. Beth Morgan DeLuca, and her husband Ben, with Leah DeLuca and Ashley Martin. And Danny Morgan, who helped me put together an awful lot of decks and things as we were adding to our home. Danny lived across the street. A lot of the time, when I'd run into a jam, I'd say, Danny, come on over, help me build. I remember in one instance building deck, run into a jam, didn't know what to do. I'm not very much of a carpenter, many of you know. So then Danny'd go home and talk to his dad, who was an engineer, and he'd tell us what to do, and he'd come back. Now as I see Danny here today, I was thinking, really, Danny, with your size, you could have built that deck in your house and carried it over, couldn't you? Anyway, Danny Morgan and his wife, Penny. Their two children, Chelsea and Daniel, couldn't make it today. They thought that perhaps a little bit more stress was necessary to ask them to come today. Probably not a bad idea in this weather. So that's that. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Lisa Durkin, principal of St. Mary's Academy.
Lisa has been principal here for about a year.
On behalf of St. Mary's faculty and schools, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Anne for her many dedicated years of service to St. Mary's Academy and to her students. Her high standards and exemplary teaching have been among our school's greatest assets. We consider ourselves fortunate to have had a teacher of her caliber on our staff. She has worked graciously with new teachers, sharing tricks of the trade, shortcuts, and other bits of information that experience have taught her. Words of encouragement, a hug, a smile were given to fellow teachers and staff members readily and sincerely. A favorite saying, "Be good to yourself," was both practiced and preached. Anne's deep faith in God has kept her in focus on His light and His presence. She has an inner peace which reflects itself outwardly in her quietness and grace. These qualities she imprints on her students and friends. Anne we will miss seeing you each day and wish you the happy, healthful retirement that you so richly deserve. Today is a day for new beginnings.
Thank you, Mrs. Durkin. At this time, we'd ask Mr. Roger Tardick, Vice President of the St. Mary's School Board. A few words. Mr. Tardick.
Hello, Ann. The other day, trying to think how I'm going to put this speech together, me and my wife were kind of reminiscing as to when was the first time we met in Morgan. It happened that it was right here in this hall at one of the harvest dinners. The first harvest dinner that's when our daughter Catherine started kindergarten 8 years ago. And it so happened my wife's name is Agnes, and at the time, the famous movie, Agnes of God, had just come out. And boy, did we do not live that one down, because Anne took that and ran with it. After 20-some odd years, it's hard to represent a school board. I feel that when you represent the school board, you represent the parents and how parents view Anne. And I've always felt that Anne was a very special person, a very deep and caring for young children and youth. You could go to Anne if you had a problem. Anne was the first one to praise your child if he done well. If there was a problem, Anne was sure to get hold of you and let you know. And somehow we would work it out. So now Anne decided to retire. Well, you know what that means? That means now you have no more excuse to say, well, I'll do this when I retire. That means now you do all the things you've always wanted to do, like sleep late in the morning, or party all night, or take a nap in the middle of the afternoon, go south for the winter. On behalf of the school board and myself, I want to wish you a fun-filled and well-deserved retirement. I hope that that retirement will be just as fine and as well as the finest day of teaching you ever had. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tardick. At this time, there seems to be a little confusion as to who's going to be doing this, but the last I heard, I think it's Edie Morlock is going to be speaking either for, with, but probably not against Elena Kavanaugh and Latina Taylor. So whoever is doing it, why don't we do it now? Edie? Are you coming alone? Or?
Edie Morlock, the preschool teacher, and a fine one.
Hello. I've been asked to say a few words on behalf of the faculty of St. Mary's Academy, and this is a very difficult thing for us to do. So difficult that by now you've figured out that I am not Letitia Taylor, nor am I Alana Kavanaugh. And when I was asked to do this, which was sort of at the spur of the moment, I wasn't sure that I could. So I decided to lighten it a little bit, and I'm going to give you 3 choices of why Letitia and Alana are not doing this. And I'll let you pick which one you think is the best. Number 3, they've made too much money this year and their agents will not allow them. The second reason Neither one of them can read or write. And the number one reason is that there's a lump in our throats that we have a hard time talking around. How many ways are there to tell someone that you love her and you respect her for all that she has given to everyone here at St. Mary's? It is for this reason that we selected Shel Silverstein's The Giving Tree as a theme for this celebration. For like the tree, Anne has given so much of herself. Even at times when there seemed that there was nothing left to give, Anne, with a smile or a hug, would give us the support and encouragement that we needed. I have a personal recollection of Anne I would like to share with you now. It was about 4 years ago when I started working here. 5 days before school started, my classroom was not ready. And I was down in my room, frantically rushing around on the verge of tears, trying to get everything done for the big day. Suddenly in the hall there was this lovely, calm, I'd like to say angel, because at the time that's what it seemed like. And I went out, frantically said, "Hello, who are you? And what do you want?" And Anne introduced herself. And I brought her into my room, and she looked around and she said, "I like this room. I feel comfortable here." And then she took me rather roughly by the arm and she said, "You can do this. I know you can. What is the most important thing to you in working here at St. Mary's?" And I said, "It's the children." And she smiled and she said, "You can do this for all the right reasons." Believe it or not, I didn't see Anne Morgan the rest of the year that year. I didn't have time, she didn't have time. And at the end of the year, she came to me and said, "How'd it go?" And I said, "It was wonderful." And she said, "I knew it would be because you had the children." It seems only fitting then that Anne now take time to give herself something. Give yourself a well-deserved break and take time to put yourself first and enjoy all your family and friends. Both students and teachers here at St. Mary's are all the better for having worked with Anne. She has many times enlightened us with her insight and her wisdom. At one of our many famous faculty meetings this year, Anne revealed to us that an angel had appeared to her in a dream the night before and told her that in return for her exemplary behavior, the Lord would reward her with her choice of infinite wealth, wisdom, or beauty. Without hesitation, Anne said she chose wisdom. "Done," said the angel, and faded into the light. We all sat there with expressions of awe. We noticed that there was a faint halo of light surrounding Anne. Finally, after what seemed like hours of silence, someone said, "Well, say something." Anne looked at us, and filled with that infinite wisdom, she said, "I should have taken the money." We know that for the past 25 years, Anne has given of herself, and it was not for the money. It was always for the children. There are so many children who are lucky enough to have been students of Mrs. Morgan. Many a student and all the teachers are better for having received. We wish you, Anne, all the best. You know where to find us if you ever need us. And certainly we know where to find you. We love you, Anne. Good luck.
Common bond. You teachers.
Deacon Leonard Patry, speak on behalf of St. Mary's Parish Lecture.
Leonard Patry attended St. Mary's. Native of Champlain.
When I was asked to say a few words about Ann Morgan on behalf of our parish, I tried to remember the first time I met her. Well, Ann has kind of been a part of my family's life for so long, it seems like I've known you all my life. Well, at least half of it anyway. Now, I might be wrong, but I think the first time I met Ann was during some in-service health workshops that the NCCS and St. Mary's teachers took together. And this was during my first couple of years of teaching, which was half of my lifetime ago. And it was also probably the first time I think I met Sister Mary Ann and Sister Leona. Well, during these early years of my career, I also had the privilege to teach some of Ann's younger children, and probably met her on a parent-teacher conference level. Then Ann had the experience of teaching some of my older children, and the parent-teacher role reversed. Well, it was about that time period that as I became more active in my parish ministries here at St. Mary's, that I also began to know Ann as part of our worshiping community. Then about 12 years ago, I met Ann on yet a different level. Well, maybe I should say Amy and I met Ann and Bob through the experience of marriage together. And I think this brings me to the Ann Morgan I want to thank today. You know, Ann does not minister in our parish liturgies by herself. Ann and Bob minister in our parish liturgies together. And that itself is a beautiful, ongoing testimony to their spirituality and sense of service to their faith community as a couple. Ann and Bob have given us witness to the blessings that they received in the sacrament of marriage every time they lecture during one of our parish ministries, in our parish liturgies. And this gift of grace that they received through the sacrament and reaffirmed through their marriage encounter experience, they openly share with us together as they proclaim God's word at Mass. On behalf of our parish, I want to thank Ann and Bob Morgan for their parish ministry, which they have shared with us for many, many years. And on behalf of our parish, I extend the invitation to Ann and Bob to continue ministering to us for many years to come. Ann and Bob, thank you for sharing all your giftedness with us.
I'll tell you the first time I met him. It was in the middle of my house, which wasn't even built yet. Those of you who know, we lived right across the street. Well, there was no house there when they built theirs. Well, I finally wound up, or Janice and I finally wound up building our home across the street. And there were no walls. And all of a sudden I turned around this one afternoon after school, and I was looking at the Clifford ash line that was doing the construction. I looked around here, and this lady standing there. I said, who is this? That's your neighbor. She was looking the whole place over. She said, boy, that's great. This is good. Want to know how it's all laid out. So she was examining that again in her home ec. But then Bob came along. You know what Bob said, huh? Bob said, boy, that'll keep the wind off my house. And I'll tell you, a couple years into that house, I often thought of what he said, and felt to give him a call and say, oh, why don't we trade? Anyway, at this time, the past and present students of St. Mary's were presenting yellow flowers. The yellow to Ann, yellow flowers indicating friendship, and it's, I think, probably one of the great parts of St. Mary's, that indeed teaching and learning here is based on friendship and not adversarial as it sometimes is in other places. And we know that. Our children went to school here, and I'll tell you a little more about that later. Now, Lisa Durkin said that for this, she is going to donate, for a short time, her rocking chair. So Ann can sit up here in a rocking chair. You're going to say it. See, Lisa, I told you she didn't need a rocking chair. She does need a rocking chair. Says, no, Ann Morgan doesn't need a rocking chair. I know Ann better than that. So, that wasn't really the way. Anyway, at this time, we'll have the presentation of the flower. And Ann, wherever you choose to stand, I guess, probably here as well. The first flower is presented from the Ann's class of 1968 and 69 by a member of her first class and her daughter, Elizabeth Morgan DeLuca. Second flower, class of 69-70, for Gerard Etier. Next, class of 70-71 by Nancy Law. Class of 71-72, Paul Rock. Class of 72-73, Roland Oliver. 73-74, Robert. 74-75, Nana LeBombard Lambert. 75-76, Roy Clark. 76-77, Dean Baker. 77-78, Jason Barker. 78-79, Matthew Ware. 79-80, Kim Barnes. 80-81, Missy Belrose. 81-82, Heather Blixt. 82-83, Jamie Dawson. 83-84, Terry Nutt. 84-85, Janelle Dumas. 85-86, Travis Misek. 86-87, Jennifer Ashline. 87-88, Joseph Colbert. 88-89, Heather Desereau. 88-90, 8990, Catherine Tardif. 9091, Natasha Rainbow. 9192, Emily Favreau. 25 years later, this year's class, 9293, Molly Ryan. Walk back to the table with an armful of flowers, but more so, a heart full of great, great memories of young people that are representing well in those classes that you have the skill to develop. This time, I'd ask Venne, Elizabeth Morgan, and Luca to speak on behalf of Venne.
Great. Now you know what I'm talking about. It's the one they sold to Spock that renders his victims helpless. I was going to 3rd grade. I'm not certain when the reality of the whole situation really hit home. Was it when Mom put me behind the Christmas tree so that she didn't have to look at me in her class? Or was it the day that we wore our matching dresses? You know, Mom sat me down the day before I went to school, and that was number 1 on the list. We've got to make sure we never wear those matching dresses, but I made the mistake. My first day of school, the one thing she didn't say to me, and I realized as my hand was going up, was, what do I call her? So for the rest of the year, I was kind of doing, hey you, hey you. I never did resolve that one. Mom was a real great teacher. She taught me how to write. My handwriting has been compared to that of a physician's. No one can ever figure out when I say, but it's my mother's fault. It's my mother's fault. 1968 was also the year that Mom was introduced to J&B. No, not that kind of J&B. It was J&B, Jimmy, Bruce, and Bob. Jimmy, Bruce, and Bob were some of the most challenging individuals that Mom ever had to deal with. One of the first lessons that she had to learn, as any teacher learns, is that there are some kids that you just got to pass to the next grade. But Mom worked real hard, and it got her off my back because for the remainder of the year, she was in the back of the classroom with Jimmy, Bruce, and Bob, working real hard to make sure they passed, and they did. Mom has kind of made some changes for the sisters in the order that she worked with. Not too long after Father Sequin passed on, Father Blow came to Mom and said, you know, we have an awful lot of sisters leaving the order, and you know, we can't afford any more scandals. So would you mind wearing the veil in the habit, you know, so just so we can pacify the community? And Mom said, no, you would really have to pay me more to do that. And speaking of pay, Mom, I want you to really enjoy your retirement. The church has just informed me that they're going to pay you the other half of the salary that you should have been getting all these years. In closing, part of the J&B group wanted to give Mom a little gift. She was always getting really weird pictures from little Jimmy Tatro, and this was one of them that, you know, we wanted to give as from our class. On the corner, there's a gift certificate for your own personal set of clackers. Everybody know what clackers are? That's so when Dad's out back, you can snap the clackers and he can come in for his meals. Good luck, Mom. We love you.
Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Pat. Very interesting. And thank you very much to the young people that some now that are not quite as young using the flower. This time, we'll have some of Ann's present fourth graders present some poetry reading of their choice. Ann, are we going to use that rocking chair now? Maybe so, huh? Okay, why don't we do that?
12:40.
Wrong spot. We have to move the rocking chair.
Oh.
Still things to learn. We have to do this. So the children
Well, it takes care of us.
First group is Roger Nutt, Molly Ryan, Andrew Castine, Leslie Phillips, Lisa Walton.
Mrs. Morgan, everybody has some friends, some big, some short, some tall. But out of all the ones I know, you're the best of all.
Second group, Adam Mono, Mary Falloon, Alton Townsend, Laura Phillips, and William Hapley.
Life is full of questions and lots of answers too. When I don't know what's right or wrong, I wait to hear from you.
Group number 3, Nathan Dutil, Ashley Burt, Margie Fay, Danielle Hicks, and Adam Colbert.
Mrs. Morgan, I know you're very busy, but please just try to call. Because apart from Teddy, I love you most of all.
Group number 4, Ashley Burt, Andrew Castile.
A prayer for you. I said a prayer for you today, and know God must have heard. I felt the answer in my heart, although he spoke no word.
I didn't ask for wealth or fame. I knew you wouldn't mind. I asked him to send treasures of his everlasting kind.
I asked that he be near you at the start of each new day, to grant you health and blessings, and friends to share your way.
I asked for happiness for you, in all things great and small, but it was for his love and care I prayed for most of all.
Very nice. As you all know, those kinds of things are not automatic. That comes as a result of a lot of hard work, effort, and sincere sincere effort on the part of the St. Mary's staff, and of course Mrs. Morgan. And you indicated that you'd like to say a few words, but this might be an appropriate time.
Don't get scared, it's not that long. First of all, that's not here, but that was beautiful. Just beautiful. And being my last class, you'll always be very special. Every single one of you was special, in your own way. But I guess, the last. I hope you saved the best for last. Okay, Jack, in the community of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Father, Board of Education, Friends of St. Mary's, Lisa, fellow teachers, staff, faculty, and friends, thank you. To the community sisters, I thank you for your support through all the years, especially Sister Elaine, who is a good listener and a gentle leader. Father, thank you so much for your liturgies. They were outstanding, beautiful, and we'll never forget them. The board has always been willing to understand, or at least listen, and help us. Friends of St. Mary's, our financial backbone of the whole school, and constant workers of magic. Our staff, Debbie LaVenture, Deb Misek, John Itzay, Steve Lapierre, keep us all humming along like a well-oiled machine. At church today, I spoke very briefly about St. Mary's Parish community and their faithfulness in working to give their children the best in elementary education. Now let's look at that teaching unit that strives to achieve this goal. Lisa Durkin, our principal, new, vital, and with more energy and new plans than any one person should be allowed. I'll certainly be cheering you on, Lisa. Your faculty, starting with Edie Morlock, the great public speaker. Preschool, using her many years of experience, she produces outstanding experiences in social preparation for our young future St. Mary's kindergartners. When they get there, they will be introduced to Real School by Lisa Lambert, who combines mother's understanding with teacher's guidance. Next, the big step to first grade, where our expert in reading, Lynn Lemire, helps every child discover the joy of reading. Now next, on to second grade, and we have Sister Marcel, who shares with the children her love of the sacraments of reconciliation and the Holy Eucharist. This beautiful gift the children will always treasure. Next is third. Aha, not an easy grade. I was there for 19 years. It's hard to teach, but because the children are moving from their small world into a more adult world, Letitia Taylor shares with them her love of math and sends them on to fourth grade, thank heavens, with super study habits. Naturally, the fourth grade is my favorite. And this year was a time of growing in social awareness, but in spirituality too. In fifth, they meet Donna Honan, a new first grade teacher with incredible professionalism in everything she does. At last, sixth grade, they finally make it. Now here, Alana Kavanaugh takes everything we've done well and things we haven't done probably quite so well, and with her style and good grace, prepares them for their final step of leaving St. Mary's into a bright world. This is our school, and I'm extremely proud to have been part of it for 25 years. Now, the most important part of the school, the kids. Yay! Okay, does mathematicians, anyone? Can anyone multiply 25 by 25 and come up with any kind of a decent answer? 25 times 25, help me. How much, sir, Mr. Morgan? 625. He's right, kids, because I figured it out at home with my calculator. Figures. It's an estimate of the number of students I taught. During this time, I've learned much more than I ever taught. The gift of laughter was shared together. It was very special. The gift of tears has brought a lot of healing to us all. Each child with their own unique personality is special as his gift to the world. Thank you, boys and girls, men and women, for all your gifts. Now you have the best parents possible, the best school possible. Get busy and be the best you can be.
Wrap things up, I just want to, perhaps maybe on a personal note, mention that all three of my children had the privilege of having Anne as a teacher, friend, and she certainly makes a difference, in all of their lives, and all of you who are here today know. Albert Hubbard, one of our great American lecturers, once said, and I think this is characteristic of Anne, there's something that is much more secure, something finer far, something rarer than ability. It is the ability to recognize ability. And that certainly is the key to a great teacher, and certainly Anne is one. As we were looking over the brochure for today's event, my middle daughter, Jennifer, who will be a senior at Trinity College in Burlington, Vermont, that Ann and Bob know well. They've sent a good portion of their paychecks across the lake to Trinity College, as well as I have, or we have, the Baker Great Institution. She's studying early childhood education, elementary education. And she told me, as soon as she saw the brochure, she said, I often read that little poem that's on the back of this brochure to my classes, my young children, as I do my practice teaching over in Burlington. And Anne, I think that's a great tribute to you and to your skills as a teacher. I'm sure that all of you have fond remembrances of Anne, and of course, they come up today. She's a great teacher in the classroom. She's been a teacher by example in her Christian family life, dedicating her time, her talents to her church, to her family, to St. Mary's School, and indeed the community as a whole. And Anne, we thank you for all of that. We thank your family for sharing you with us. And indeed, our lives are certainly fuller because of you. Thank you.
This formal gathering portion of the retirement party for Mrs. Anne Morgan teacher 19 years in the 3rd grade through 86, and since then she's been teaching in the 4th grade at St. Mary's Academy. And for every student you saw up there were 20 to 25 more from that same class that she taught. Teaching with sign language right now to Father Susi, both leaving the St. Mary's area.
Yes. Hey, Tom said the same thing. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I ran into him.
We'll
Yeah, it's the first time I see them.
close this off right now as far as the formal portion. Bob's been with the mic, and we hope you enjoy this watching this retirement party for Ann Morgan. And there's our Grand Marshal in our parade this year at St. Mary's Academy, Mrs. Frances St. Maxims, and a fixture in the community also for over 60 years. Done so much for our Central School. Frances St. Maxims on the left and Ann Morgan on the right. Thanks for watching Hometown Cable. We're at St. Mary's Academy. We hope you'll tune in every day to Hometown Cable at 1 p.m., 4:30, 8 p.m., midnight, and again at 8 the following morning. And don't forget, if you're not already one, become a patron and keep this kind of program coming to your houses every day, courtesy of Calvin and Sam Castine. Many friendships that have grown up over the years started as the person in charge, and since then they've learned over the years to honor and respect each other, all for the glory of the children. And Morgan. Petro has had many children in this school, and her husband Roger that have been under the tutelage, and grandchildren probably under the tutelage of Ann Morgan. And of course very active in the parish in addition, together. Another souvenir, a memory. Charlie passing on with this Ashline, who they say probably built their home on South Street, corner of South, next to John Zerlos. Some of the people who came to wish Ann a happy retirement. And about last time, thing blown. What happens after a party is over? The breakup, the picking up, the cleanup committee is now doing its part. Some of the fourth graders. Barlow taught here with Ann many years ago when he was teaching at St. Mary's. Ann has seen a lot of teachers come and go over the years, including your principal for 8 or 9 years, Sister Elaine Boyer, who's gone back to Vermont now. Consul and member and a trustee of the church for many years, next in line to wish Ann the best. I'm sure he discussed down at the church with the other members the amount of money that she should be getting, knowing we couldn't pay her what we should pay her, how much she's worth. But that's one of the problems you have in a Catholic school. It's unfortunate, but it's a fact of life. Someone said she'll get her other half of her pay now when she retires. This is Janice Dawson talking to the MC, who did a great job again for Ann at this retirement party, just as he did the other night when he was MC in the church for Father Susie's special mass. Some of the grandchildren wondering why they're still here. For 40 years has been children. Let's say 38 anyway, at home and in school. Continued on when she left school and classes to go home to her own. Mitch Willett brought the speaker system for the party. Everybody was able to hear very well. So did Weisberger. To say hello to Ann. Etier talking with Ann. St. Mary's Gym, lots of excitement here over the last 40 to 50 years since it was built by my wife, grandfather, Israel Manette. A lot of basketball games, a lot of plays, performances, graduations, band concerts, Christmas programs, what have you, over the last 50 years here in St. Mary's Academy. Oh, we have a wrestler here. This is no stranger to the wee people in Champlain. For anybody who sees this, our former, I guess, trustee mayor for many years, still here at Kimpex. Okay, Bob, what's happening now with you and Ann starting next week?
Well,
make it next month.
We'll make it next month, give her a chance to get her feet on the ground. She's going to, of course, do her Mary Kay business now. Spend a little bit more time with that. Something she's been working at for a couple of years now, and but just because of the intensity of the school work and so on, she really hasn't had an opportunity to spend the time she'd like. So she's going to gradually pick up a little momentum with their Mary Kay business. And hopefully now she's going to be able to go out and visit her children that are scattered around the North Country. Have the ability to go there on the weekends now that she can be rested up more, and she has been over the past few years. And then between the two of us, we're going to spend a little bit more time in our favorite resort area over in St. Lawrence County.
Yes.
A place called Joe Indian Pond that we've been going to ever since we were married. That, incidentally, is going to be 40 years come this December.
40 years?
Yep. So that's what we're going to really do for coach for a couple more years, and then when I retire, we'll get into the serious stuff at that point.
Okay, Bob, where was she born?
Ann was born in Norwood, New York.
Norwood. Quite famous for their band that went over to the Olympics?
That's correct.
Yes, and yourself in that area also?
Yeah, I was born just 6 miles from there, but did live in Norwood for the biggest share of my life.
Okay.
And her father used to play in one of the versions of the Norwood Fire Department band. And of course, I played in it also for 16 years.
What did you play?
I played trombone.
Yes.
Started playing trombone with a band when I was just in 8th grade in high school.
Well, let me be the first to wish you a 40th anniversary in December, you said, but in case I forget it by then, Bob. And thanks very much, and just say hi, Ann. She's going to be watching this.
Hi, Ann. I'm glad for you.
You betcha. She's earned every bit of it. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
The Morgan family, we'll get some close-ups here. Tom has already left. We missed him, but we guess we have most of the rest of the family here. And thank you very much, folks. Okay. You saw them all introduced, but now we'll look at the youngsters here. Hi.
Okay, the Giving Tree. This book was given to me by Maria Clark and Dan Morgan back in 1975, and I've used it in my classrooms ever since. Once there was a tree, and she loved the little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk, swing on her branches, and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade, and the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy, but time went by, and the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come climb up my trunk and swing from my branches, eat my apples, and play in my shade, and be happy." "I'm too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you'll have money, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree, gathered her apples, carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk, swing from my branches, and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife, I want children, so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. But you can cut off my branches and build a house, and then you will be happy." So the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I am too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk, made a boat, sailed away, and the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. The apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I'm too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I am too tired to climb," said the boy. "I'm sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump." "I'm sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I'm very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. "Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit down and rest." And the boy did, and the tree was happy.
And Martha.
Yep, that's it.
Very nice.
By Maria Clark and Dan Morgan back in 1975, and I've used it in my classrooms ever since. Once there was a tree, and she loved the little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk, swing on her branches, and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade, and the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy, but time went by, and the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come climb up my trunk and swing from my branches, eat my apples, and play in my shade, and be happy." "I'm in play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you'll have money, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree, gathered her apples, carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk, swing from my branches, and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife, I want children, so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. But you can cut off my branches and build a house, and then you will be happy." So the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered, "come and play." "I am too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk, made a boat, sailed away, and the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. The apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." I'm too old to swing on branches, said the boy. My trunk is gone, said the tree. You cannot climb. I am too tired to climb, said the boy. I'm sorry, sighed the tree. I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I'm sorry. I don't need very much now, said the boy. Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I'm very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit down and rest. And the boy did, and the tree was happy.
And more.
Yeah, that's it.
Very nice.
There